Now, this is Beverly and her daughter Priscilla. Beverly called our show because she is convinced that her deceased ex-husband's spirit is restlessly roaming the halls of their house. These visits by this apparition have been confusing, they've been frustrating, and sometimes frightening for Beverly and her daughter. So listen to their story. When Priscilla was just 4 years old, her father died suddenly. Before Priscilla's mother could break the news to her, young Priscilla says the spirit of her father came into her room, sat on the edge of her bed, and actually spoke to her. Ever since that day, Priscilla believes her father continuously visits her and her family. Priscilla says she has seen his apparition walk through the halls of her house, and his ghost has appeared to her mother and boyfriend. Priscilla says the run-ins with her dead father have left her confused and frustrated. Today, she is desperate to find out why her father's spirit is restless and refuses to leave her side. So everybody, please welcome Beverly and her daughter Priscilla. They're here. Now, can you remember the first time the spirit appeared?
Yes, it was the night that he passed away. I was very much in love with him, but I left him because he had an addiction problem. So I left so that my children would be well off and I would be better. I came home from work and found out that he had passed away, and I was so distraught I couldn't talk to my children. She was only 4 years old and my son was 7. I decided to wait until the next day. That night, after they were in bed, my daughter came running out of the room. Daddy's trying to take me. Daddy's trying to take me. Don't let him take me. And I didn't know how to react. I just held her and said, he's not going to take you anywhere. And that was the beginning.
What's upsetting you?
It's hard to deal with. It's frightening. It's like a stranger's in my house.
She didn't really know him.
Right.
So.
And do you still have contact with him?
I feel like he's always watching me. I feel like he's always in my house.
Wow. What are some of the other unexplained things that happened?
Well, after he passed away, I would sit on the couch and Priscilla would lay on my lap and I'd rub her back and look up in the front door. I'd see him looking in, and I thought it was my own desire for him to be alive so that we could reconcile and have the family that we used to have.
Now, it's important for you to kind of reconcile this, is that right?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because from being so frightened of him when I was younger and still seeing him and still knowing that he's around has made me frightened of dead people. And I want to be a forensic pathologist. And there's no way I can work with dead people if I'm scared of them, so I really need to.
So you want to be a forensic pathologist, right. And you think that this connection is preventing you from doing that?
Yes, very much so.
What we wanted to do was to try to help Beverly and Priscilla and give them some answers. So this is what we did. We enlisted a friend of ours, a well-known psychic, a psychic intuitive, Jeffrey Wands. And Jeffrey went to their house to try to give them some answers. Now, I want you to know, Jeffrey had no prior knowledge of this story. Didn't know anything about this story. He never met them, right? You never met Jeffrey. There was no connection. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to make sure that you knew that as we take a look at what happened with Jeffrey.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll see my father standing, usually in that corner. Sometimes he'll lay on my bed or sit on my bed.
She doesn't know that it's her father and that he really loves her. She's afraid of him, which concerns me.
The fact there's a ghost in my house is kind of scary when you think about it.
We wanted to help, so we sent psychic intuitive Jeffrey Wands out to Priscilla's house to see if he could make contact with her deceased father's spirit.
This energy here, there are an enormous amount of dead people here.
Jeffrey walked from room to room.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of activity here.
Priscilla was skeptical, but hopeful.
There's a male that I keep seeing that's got a military uniform that has some sort of like stripes. Plus they keep showing me a man that I would say to you has to be your dad. Like, he's very apologetic, so there has to be either some sort of addiction that he had or some sort of problem with addiction when he was here, and that's what he's concerned about, and that's why he wants you to stay away from people that are like that. Because it's making me feel like a few times on the bed you felt him, or he's touched you, or he's touched your head. That's him. He's not trying to scare you. But it's not your imagination. I mean, the presence is here is more because of Dad, and the issue with Dad is more because Dad didn't get to play the role. So it's like when he's showing himself or he's being around, it's only because he didn't get that chance to be here to see you grow.
As Jeffrey continued the process, Priscilla was overcome with emotion.
Just talk to him. And when I say talk to him, it would be like, just let him know it's okay that he's here, and then you'll take the fear out of it, and you'll realize that he's kind of the person that's looking out for you. That's the most important thing.
In the end, Jeffrey's visit helped Priscilla understand her father's presence.
I feel relieved that I know my father's here to help me, that he loved me, that he's trying to play a father figure even if he's physically not here, that you know, I don't have to be scared of him anymore. I don't have to feel like he's here to like push me away or just to bother me. He's here for a reason.
Well, do you feel consoled? Do you feel different?
I feel now that I know why he's there, that I could work on getting past it and being able to deal with him being around.
Okay, well, maybe you'll feel even better because our old friend and good friend of this show, Jeffrey Wands, is here. Here's Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Jeffrey, now, let me ask you straight off. It's very common for deceased people or relatives to remain around?
In this case especially, because you're talking about a father figure, or her dad especially, that didn't get a chance to really play a role in her life. And I think that's the biggest part of this.
So now she's feeling a little bit better. How can she feel a lot better? Priscilla?
Understanding that he made a lot of mistakes here, and I think the real big issue here is understanding that those mistakes affected him because he ended up going over to the other side. But he wants very much for her to play a good role here, and that's why he's here. And if she realizes that it's coming from a love point, and it's not coming from a fear point, it's the best thing.